Music is one of the greatest creations of man. But what if it was created by dogs for a change? Can you imagine a dog standing in front of rows and rows of musicians and conducting them on how to play their musical instruments? Sounds like something out of a cartoon, right? But what about real life? Lately, Pedigree has pulled this stunt. It is a pet food company owned by Mars Petcare, and it created this unique tail orchestra experiment as an advertising campaign in collaboration with the advertising agency BBDO New York. The story behind this musical experiment will amaze you. So how did it all start? But before we dive deep into it, please subscribe to our channel as it helps us create new content. Just like humans, dogs can enjoy music and recognize different tones and notes. Most dog owners must already know this. Music is the best way to calm dogs. But what if these musical animals were made to create music? In fact, what if these dogs were made to lead a whole orchestra? Sounds crazy, right? It is a simple yet intriguing question, and a talented, curious group of innovative individuals who were inspired to find its answer. So they noted the unique personalities and quirks of dogs and decided to explore the idea of creating music that was unpredictable and driven by the natural behaviors of dogs. But you should know that this was no ordinary group. The team behind the Dog Tail Orchestra consists of musicians, composers, and dog lovers who came together to bring this unique concept to life. They were inspired by the way dogs interact with their environment and each other, and they wanted to capture the feeling of these interactions in music. So in a way, the idea for the Dog Tail Orchestra was born out of a desire to push the boundaries of traditional music making. The goal was to simply create something entirely new and original, music that was created by the dogs. So how did they do it? Anyone can train a dog to play a few notes of piano or some other instrument, but that is not actually creating music. When you train a dog to play music, it is you who is actually creating the music using a dog. So the genius minds behind the Dog Tail Orchestra wanted to avoid this. They wanted the dogs to create their own music. No human, just dogs. And for this, they were fascinated by the idea of using dogs as the conductors of the orchestra, with their tails serving as the baton. After all, dogs wag their tails, depending on their feelings. And if you are a dog owner, you must already know that each wag of tail is different based on what the dog is feeling. If a dog is happy, it will wag its tail differently. If a dog is excited, the movement of its tail will be different. This is true for all the emotions that a dog can feel. And one thing about music is that you create it based on how you feel. So did this idea work? Were the dogs able to create any music? And if they were, was it worth listening to? The team behind this unique orchestra was able to create unpredictable symphonies that were driven by the natural movements and behaviors of the dogs. And you will be shocked to know that the results were surprising and delightful. Each performance was unique and spontaneous. Still, it was not an easy deed. To this concept turn into a real-life orchestra, a lot of creativity, patience, and dog treats were involved. The team started by selecting a diverse group of dogs, each with their distinct voice and style. They then designed special instruments tailored to each pup's strengths and abilities. The drummers were responsible for playing drums based on the dog's paw taps. The xylophone players were instructed to play based on dog's body movement, and this way, each musician was instructed to respond to a particular body part or movement of the dogs. The resulting music was harmonious and amazing. Of course, the recording sessions were a bit messy, with dogs running around and reacting differently to different objects, but the overall experiment was fun and unique. The music created by the dogs, more so, but question remains the same. Is it worth listening to? Pedigree's stunt was widely and warmly accepted by the worldwide audience. But what's next for these talented musical dogs? Will they perform at Carnegie Hall? Collaborate with human musicians, or perhaps inspire a new generation of young musicians to explore the world of animal-assisted music? The truth is, no one knows. For Pedigree, it was a one-time stunt. They just wanted to explore the musical nature of dogs, and they have. They've shown us that music is a universal language capable of bridging species and bringing people together in the most unexpected ways. But they have also opened roads towards more animal-assisted music and research directions, where people can explore the feelings of animals and the music associated with these feelings. Already, there are so many sociologists and behavioral experts researching on what are the musical tricks of different animals. After all, a cat doesn't wag its tail, but it enjoys the music just like dogs. Thanks to this musical stunt, Pedigree now has a worldwide customer. And this is the main reason music critics are against this stunt. How do you think the music community took this experiment? Comment down to let us know. With this experiment performed by the Pedigree, the future of musical orchestras is now in question. Both the art critics and the public have different opinions on this musical experiment. The discussion is heated among the musical enthusiasts. After all, some see this as an exciting opportunity for innovation, pushing the boundaries of what we consider music. Others, however, are more skeptical, questioning whether this is a genuine artistic expression or a novelty act. According to many people, this was just the musicians improvising on how they played their instruments based on dogs' tail wags and body movement. A true conductor is supposed to command the music, note by note. And the dogs in this experiment were barely conscious of the fact that their tail wag was the reason behind music in the room. Besides, does this musical act even have a place in the classical music world? Renowned music critic Alex Ross shared his thoughts on the Dog Tail Orchestra. He was disappointed by this experiment and said that it was not a genuine artistic expression. According to him, music is a human language, and this novelty act might dilute the value of classical music. He does appreciate the creativity behind this project, but he does not appreciate it as a unique experience, especially when it comes to creating music or conducting an orchestra. Another composer and music educator, Caroline Shaw, says that the Dog Tail Orchestra is a wonderful example of how music can bring people together. So in a way, the critics and musicians are divided on how to value this experiment. If there is one thing that's certain, it's that the musicians and players of this orchestral experiment saw it as a fun experiment and opportunity. They love their experience of turning dogs' tail wags and body language into musical notes and symphonies. As for the public, the social media platforms are lit with reactions. Some people were delighted by the idea, sharing videos and photos of their own pets making music. Others were more critical, questioning the artistic merit and even calling it disrespectful to the great music conductors of the past. So was it really an insult to the great music conductors of the past? One of the downsides of this musical experiment is that the music enthusiasts, mostly, think that it is an insult to the likes of Mozart, Beethoven, and Bach. These are the legendary names when you think about music orchestra conductors. Mozart alone is the grandest name associated with the creation of musical symphonies. His music was such soul-chilling that even today people believe that he had sold his soul to the devil in exchange for this musical gift. Lacrimosa by Mozart is the most angelic form of musical orchestra ever. Only a few notes are enough to send shivers down your spine. And when you think about music that is this level epic in comparison with dogs wagging their tails, sure, the experiment sounds like a slap to the faces of the people of Mozart, but the real focus point should be on the intention of this musical deed. After all, who says music has to be serious all the time? It's about time that people learn to have some fun and enjoy the creativity of music. Whether the conductor is a human who's sold his soul to the devil, or a little puppy wagging its tail looking at a toothbrush. In fact, this Dog Tail Orchestra can also be a tribute to the great music conductors. How? Well, it is a lighthearted, humorous take on classical music. Besides, Leonard Bernstein, the legendary conductor, once said that the music is supposed to name the unnameable and communicate the unknowable. And if you think about it, the Dog Tail Orchestra embodies this spirit. Who knows, these legendary musical conductors might have loved this experimental orchestra themselves. After all, it's dogs. Everyone loves dogs. Moreover, if the Spotify views and plays of this Dog Tail Orchestra Orchestra are any proof, more and more people are loving the harmony conducted by the dogs. The main thing to take from this experiment is that music is a universal language, capable of evoking emotions and bringing people together. Sure, the Dog Tail Orchestra has undoubtedly sparked a lively debate, but the way it challenges human perception of music and art is so interesting and deep. Whether you see it as a novelty act or even a disrespect to the classical music tradition, this orchestra is a game changer for sure. It is a refreshing innovation in the history of conducting musical orchestras. What do you think? Is the Dog Tail Orchestra a genuine artistic expression or a novelty act? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to share it along with dog lovers and music enthusiasts alike.